In today's gospel, in chapter 12 of Mark, we have a scribe that comes to Jesus to clarify an argument that is going on with the scribes. Now, usually in the Gospel of Mark, we see that people that ask Jesus questions are actually confronting him. And this one is not. This one is really hungry to learn and hungry to grow in faith and in wisdom. And Jesus recognizes this. It's absolutely marvelous how Jesus looks into the heart and the mind of this person as he asks a basic question. What is the greatest commandment? Jesus takes Levitical writings and Deuteronomistic writings, and he links the two. To love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your might. Everyone knows that. At least that's so the scribe would say. But Jesus links that specifically to loving your neighbor as yourself. How marvelous is it to understand that loving God is shown by loving neighbor. A common understanding for many Christians over these past 2,000 years. The scribe gets it. The scribe is remarkable in his response because he goes right to the heart of who he is. A person who works in the temple, a person whose livelihood is contingent upon sacrifices. And he says that this is even true, that sacrifices are nothing in comparison to loving and giving and sharing. He goes to the core of who he is and is willing to deny himself to follow the way of Jesus. And that's the beauty of this text. Most of us gloss right over the scribe's renunciation of himself for a greater glory. And aren't we called to do the same? To renounce the self for the greater glory of God. To love even when it doesn't seem good to ourselves. Even when it doesn't seem easy to ourselves. And in this, Jesus responds with greater love and says, you are close to the kingdom of heaven, knowing fully well that the kingdom of heaven in just a couple chapters will happen when Christ takes the cross for the love of the other. How remarkable. Loving God is dependent upon loving the other, and loving the other is dependent on loving God. It's a beautiful thing.